Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend and got lots of fun stuff to cover today, so we'll go ahead and get started. Last week's 5-Minute Moneymaker was a way to get people to respond back to your emails. So one of the things, you got to be a little bit different on your emails. We shared one here a few months ago with Adele, with a big picture of Adele. That was a fantastic way to do it. But if people are not responding back, you got to give them something to smile at, some sort of humor. I used to send out back, now remember, this is 20 years ago. It'd make more sense back 20 years ago. But I used to send a card with a quarter in it and say, man, I'm trying to get a hold of you. And in case your phone's out of order, here's a quarter to give me a call on a payphone. And people would call up and say, ha, 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 that's very clever and blah, blah, blah. But it would get them to call me. So you got to do something a little bit different to get people to pick up the phone and call you back. So these are some ideas that you could actually use. This is the only graphic I could find, and so you can see it's only through August 22nd, 2018, so about a year ago, but has the bull market extended itself since then? So it already set a record. Is it so it's extended. It's even so the record was a year ago. So now we're how far into the record territory? That's crazy, right? So we're way in. That doesn't mean the market's going to crash tomorrow, but it means, again, I've been saying this for 2 years, but as we talked about last week, the fear of missing out. When should we get out of the market? After it crashes or before it crashes? And are we near to the end of the bull market, or are we near to the beginning of the bull market? So those are the kind of things you think about. So how has the bull market continued for another year? What has caused the market to continue for another year? What are some reasons? What are some reasons the market's continued? There's a huge one. Okay, Mark says Till says tax cuts. What did the company? Everybody's saying tax cuts. Mark did. So what did companies do with the tax cuts? They said, because we were told with the tax cuts they were going to hire more people, build more factories, build more machines to fill out. What did they do with it? Yeah, Kirk's got it. They bought back. So you can see here. So stock buybacks top capital expenditures for the first time since 2008. What happened in 2000, 2007, 2008 when there's a whole bunch of stock buybacks? Does anybody remember what happened then? See, what happens when companies are buying back their own? Oh, by the way, have you seen, and I don't have the article, have you seen the article? CEOs right now, the CEOs, the vast majority of CEOs buying their stock of the company they own or selling the stock of the company they own? David's got it, Kirk's got it, Mark's got it. You guys are my star students today. They're selling their own stock. So at the very time the companies are buying stock, the CEOs are selling their own stock. Is that a good sign or a bad sign? Yeah, that's a bad sign. Also, this was from earlier this spring. So if the average American knew that the very same banks that blew up the U.S. economy, devastating the U.S. housing market, crashed the stock market, threw millions of Americans out of work, just a decade ago were warning in their own 10K legal filings with the SEC that the same thing could happen again at any moment, there'd be mobs with pitchforks in the streets. But because corporate media does not put this critical information on the front page of newspapers, the public remains in the dark and Congress dawdles. According to the Office of Comptroller of Currency, J.P. Morgan Chase had $48.2 trillion, yes, trillion with a T, in notional face amount derivatives as of December 2018. Of that amount, 58% remained in over-the-counter contracts rather than centrally cleared. Regulators have very little insight of the over-the-counter, so the vast majority, about 2/3 of these derivatives, are traded over-the-counter where the regulators can't look at them. For all we know, the Wall Street mega banks could have enormous amounts of risk concentrated with one derivative's counterparty, the very thing that brought down the giant insurance company AIG in 2008, forcing taxpayer bailout, the insurance company for tune of $185 billion. So just as always, as always happens, do we learn our lessons with these things, or do we have this amnesia of these things happening? So same problem 2008. We got the same problem today. Same problem here. Same problem today. See, but you know what? I don't think it's going to be derivatives that blow it up. I don't think it's going to be the stock buybacks that blow it up, because what's going to blow it up? What is going to blow up the market? Yeah, black swan, Tom. We don't know. That's right. Everything. We don't know, Nick. That's right. We have no clue. But there's all sorts of again, the dashboard is, the warning lights on the dashboard have been going off for over 2 years now. And I've been Chicken Little saying the market's going to fall sometime in the near future for 2 years. But again, could have happened earlier, except what happened again last year? What buoyed the market last year? We just talked about it a minute ago. All the stock buybacks. The companies weren't becoming more profitable. Is that the stocks, the companies are actually buying their stocks back. We still got problems. Thanks, Mark, for this article here. Treasury bonds are now riskier than stocks. Barron's is telling us Treasury bonds are now more risky than stocks. Guys, if you have any of your clients in bonds, dudes, come on. And then talking about derivatives, Icon, the market will one day implode because of these wacky funds using so much leverage. Billionaire Carl Icahn told CNBC on Tuesday that there are too many exotic leverage products for investors to trade. What does that sound like, guys? Too many exotic leverage products for investors to trade. What does that sound like? Nobody watched The Big Short? Yeah, exactly. 2008. Sounds exactly like 2008. Did any of the banks, did any of the investors know what the hell they were buying back in 2008? No, they had no clue what it was they were buying. The market is at a casino on steroids with all these exchange-traded funds now and exchange-traded notes. These funds, especially leveraged ones, are the fault lines that will eventually lead to an earthquake on Wall Street. These are just the beginnings of a rumbling. Now, is Carl Icahn a Chicken Little? Is he always saying, oh, the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash? No, he's not. Because, I mean, here's an example. Shortly after November's 2016 election, Icahn said he left Trump's victory party to take advantage of a market dip and bet about $1 billion on stocks. This is not a guy who's afraid of investing in stocks. He's a huge stock proponent. But he's saying right now that what? Stocks are a good thing or dangerous as heck? Yeah, dangerous, not because of anything except when we start creating all sorts, and the banks and investment bankers start creating all sorts of vehicles that nobody really understands. See, that's his point here. There's so many vehicles that even now with exchange traded funds, which started out as index investments, are exchange traded funds just indexes anymore? No. They're all sorts of things. And when they start creating things that nobody understands how they work, that is a problem. Now, why is that a problem for our clients? Why is that a problem for our clients? We all know, and this is just another different graphic for the problem with sequence of returns. So it assumes 10% annual returns for 17 years, followed by a negative 15% annual returns for 3 years. Could that happen? Has that happened before? 10% for 17 years, minus 15 for 3 years. So it's saying, hey, depending on when you get that minus 15, would have a huge difference. If you got it at the end, your $1 million portfolio would still be worth $1.3 million at the end of 20 years. If you got the minus 15 for 3 years at the beginning, boom, you could be out of money. So right now we're worried about what? The market going up for another 18 to 20, or for another 17 years? What's the likelihood the market's going to continue to go up for another 17 years without a correction? Anybody want to take a bet on that? Never, exactly, zero. So we're more concerned about this dark blue line at this time, at least for our clients. Make sense? So again, I'm Chicken Little saying the market's going to fall. It is. We just don't know when, and we need to be prepared for it, because by the time it falls, it's too late. You can't fix something after it's already. You can't prevent something after it's already broken. So from the archives, I want to go through, because right now with the market, at a year into a record market, some people think that's going to go on for how long, client-wise? Client-wise, how about investor or advisor-wise? Some people think it's going to be going on forever. So when you try to get them to take some money off the table, do you sometimes get some pushback? So how much risk should you take? So I want to show you from the archives of my scripts, a script I call it the wallet script. And I want to walk you through, because it's a great thing to go through with clients right now. So it's a very good script, but there's something wrong with it. So It's something that you guys should pay attention to, should use, but at the end, I'm going to ask you what's wrong with it, okay? So at the end, after we go through the script, I want you to answer what's wrong with this script. There's a lot right with it, but there's also something hugely wrong with it. So let's walk through it. So there's been a lot of things happening in the world. When I wake up, it seems like every time I turn on the news, bad news. Sometimes I just lose faith. You drive down the highway, you see the way people drive, you lose faith in humankind. Not at all the time, but just occasionally you look around and say, doesn't anybody like anybody anymore? Do you ever feel that? Now, guys, I wrote this back in 2000. I wrote this back in 2000. Is it still apropos today? Yeah, exactly. And so when you ask, so if you said that to people, what would they say? Well, yeah, all the time I see people act like that. The aggressiveness of the me of things. The reason I bring this up is the New York Times ran an article a while back about talking about the 1960s. Two university psychology departments ran a study where they put a wallet with a name written on the inside and a $100 bill. Now, this is back in the 1960s, and they put it on the street, and they wanted to see how many people, when they found the wallet, would return it. And they found 75% of people did return the wallet. And the reason they had this article in the New York Times is because they wanted to find out if that study is still valid. The client said, okay, that's interesting. So what they did is they did the study in two different universities again. So they handed it over, had two different universities do the study again. They put a name and address in the wallet with $200 this time. We got inflation, right? And they dropped it on the street. And what would you guess? What would you guess the 60-year time difference and the way people act now compared to the 60s, not 60 years time difference, about, what is that, about 40, 50-year time difference, compared to what percentage would you guess now? Well, I guess it would be 60s now, right? Because we're getting to wow, time flies. So what percentage would you guess? The client says, 50, 60%. That's what I guess too, but I would have guessed 56%. It's actually almost 80%. People are even a little bit more trustworthy today. So, wow, that's interesting, client says. Which surprised me. Unfortunately, we listen to the news, and we always hear what? About the good people or bad people? No, we hear about the bad people. They never say, hey, there's a good person out here, there's a good Samaritan. So we kind of get a skewed view of the world, don't we? Because most of, are good people, or good, decent people, or bad people? And people say good, decent people. Now, here's, again, I'm using a methodology that we always use, which is talking third party. So then we say, so I was wondering if you'd help me out with an experiment. Okay. Do you have your wallet on you? Yeah, I've got my wallet on me. Okay, do you have any money in it? Yeah, not a lot, but some. Okay, well, I can give you some time. You can run to an ATM, and why don't you go ahead and withdraw $200 and put it in the wallet. And then we'll take out your credit card and your license and anything to with identity theft. We don't want any identity theft problems. Why don't you go get $200 out of the ATM, your $200, put it in the wallet, and then let's just throw it on the street and see what happens. See how many people will return that wallet. And out of role play, guys, what everybody's going to say at that point? What will everybody say at that point? No way, right? So why not? You got an 80% chance of getting that back. There's an 80% chance that people are going to call you and give that money back. So why wouldn't you do that? Yeah, you got a 20% loss. So 20% that people would take it. So no, 2 out of 10. That means you've got an 8 out of 10 chance of them not taking it, though. So why worry? Well, I got a 20% chance of running out of money. So what do you think about 20% chance of running out of money? Is that too high or not too high? Yeah, not worth the risk. So nobody would, and if I asked a bunch of people, how many people would be willing to do that, you think? None, yeah. So nobody would. But the funny thing is, think about this. How much money do you have in your retirement account right now? About $300,000. How long did it take for you to build that up? Well, about 45 years or so. So is that easy to build up or not easy to build up? Well, no, it wasn't really easy at all. We had to save hard. Yeah, and how easy would it be for you to replace $200 if you lost it? On a role play, how long is it going to take, guys, to replace $200? If you got a $300,000 portfolio, yeah. Yeah, I could replace. I mean, just go down to the ATM and get another $200 out. Yeah, but yet you weren't willing to lose that, were you? Mm-mm. So could you lose 20% in the market? What's the answer to that? Yeah, you could. So in a $300,000 account, that would be 20% of $300,000 is $60,000. So normally you don't lose money in the market, do you? I mean, normally the market goes up or goes down normally. Majority of the time, does the market go up or go down? Goes up. Yeah, in fact, about 80% of the time, the market goes up. So, well, it goes up about 80% of the time, which means you have a good chance or a bad chance of making money. Yeah, good chance. So if you have 80% chance of the market going up, and you have what percentage chance of it going down? What's the percentage of a chance of it going down then? 20%. And that was the same as a what on the street? Of somebody what on the street? Taking the money in my wallet. Yeah. But when I asked this to other folks, none of them wanted to risk losing that $200. But the question is, how long would it take to replace $60,000 as compared to $200,000? Long time or short time? Yeah, it'd really be hard to replace that $60,000. Yeah, how about $50,000 or $20,000? It really doesn't matter. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Yeah. So if I asked people how many people would take to lose that, how many people would say that? Well, very few. Think about this. If you're afraid of losing $200, should you be afraid of losing $20 or $30 or $40 or $50 or $60,000? Because earlier you said you were afraid of losing the $200,000. Should you be afraid of losing $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $100,000? Yeah, every single person that said they didn't want to lose $200 also told me what? They didn't want to lose the tens of thousands of dollars either. Yeah. So both times it was only a 20% chance of losing money. But either way, it was too much money to risk. So here it says you should be. Now I'm looking at their asset weighting on their 21-point checklist. Here it says you should be somewhere between 55 and 35% in the market. So should we have all of our money? Should we have all of our money then in guaranteed? No. Where should we have some of our money? Well, we should have some that grows. Yeah, and that's what the cost of living for medical expenses is. It's going to be high. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11%, depending on what you listen to for medical expenses. Can we just bury our money under a big rock in the backyard? No. So we have to have what? Well, we have to have growth and we have to have safety. Well, because you remember earlier when we were talking about you're worried about volatility and worried about liquidity, right? Right. And then there's inflation, so we need to have to make sure we're set up for both ways. So see what this is saying. You can see I'm very bad at reading. I should have all of your money in growth, or should we have all of our money in risk or in safety? No, I mean, you're right. It's too rich. Oh, I'm sorry. What I'm saying here is when we're looking at their asset weighting, they have way too much money in growth. So should you have all your money in growth, which is where you are right now? No, I mean, you're right. It's too risky. Should you have all your money in guaranteed? No. So there's an old saying that we should be what? In the middle. So we've gotten older. We're less worried about inflation. We're more worried about what? Losses. Yeah, volatility, losses, volatility. So you're still in the middle income of your life expectancy, but it means that we should be as concerned about volatility as we are about inflation. And isn't that where you should be right now? Yes. Do you see where they came up with these numbers? Yeah. Do you see? So this is just an addition to the asset weighting script. So do you see what we started out with was third party and third party story or nothing about their money. We said nothing about their investments. So how many people would go ahead and do the wallet? I want to poll you guys. How many people would say they'd go ahead and do that wallet experiment? How many people would go ahead and put $200 in a wallet with their identification and throw it on the street? Yeah, 0 would. And then we tie back that 20% chance of loss to the market, saying, well, you know what? The market has an 80% chance of going up, which means that there's a, well, how much percent chance of going down? 20%. But geez, you said you were afraid of losing $200. Aren't you afraid of losing 20% of, you have a 20% chance of losing money in the market, and that would be what? Doesn't mean you're going to be down 20%. It could be down 30, 40, 50%. So you're afraid of losing 20,000, but you're okay with losing 70, 80, 90, 100,000? Because guys, what's 20% of 500,000? What's 30% of 500,000? And when I say lose it, can you lose money in the market? And when I say lose it, I mean lose it, not have it go down and have it come back up. Can you lose money in the market where it goes down and it never comes back up? Yes, there's two different ways. What are the two different ways you can lose money in the market and never get it back? What are the two different ways? Let's see how smart you guys are today. Sell low, Tom. That's one. Yep, so you're right, Glad. Sell low, you take it out. The other one is what? It's another version of taking it out, which is using it for income. Sequence of return risk. So isn't it funny though? This is an example of behavioral economics. People are worried about losing $200, but when it comes to their investments, guess what? When they're gonna lose or could lose tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, they're willing to take the risk. But for $200 in a wallet, they won't take the risk. Isn't that crazy? Is that a different way for people to look at risk when it comes to their money and see that they're maybe making decisions that don't make economic sense? Okay, so that's what's right about this script. What's wrong about this script? And I screwed it up because I'm not very good at reading. I'm better at free flow than I am at reading. So, but anybody catch what was wrong with the script? Or was weaker in the script? Ah, Kirk's got it. Very good, Kirk. Oh, nobody else has got it. Kirk said too many yes/no questions. Too many, not too many questions. I got guys saying too many questions. Guys, how many questions should be in a script? How many questions should be in a script? The whole script should be what? The whole script should be questions. The problem is not questions. The problem, as Kirk pointed out, was that it was too many closed-ended questions. For those three guys that said the problem was too many questions, dudes, what should, in a perfect script, what should not come out of your mouth? If you have a perfect meeting, what should not come out of your mouth? Statements, that right. Why should statements never come out of your mouth? Why should statements never come out of your mouth? That's right, Nick. They won't believe them. Why won't they believe statements? Because if they believe me, what's the only reason I would make a point to them? What is the only reason I would make a point to them? Because I love them, because I'm charitable, because I really care about them. Yeah, because I want to sell them. I want them to believe me, so they'll move their money to me. So good job, Kirk and the others that came up with not enough open-ended questions, too many closed-ended questions. But this is a script that you can find now in the library under objections and also under, Missy, help me, where else is it? Under.
It's actually in the audio video library, and then it's also underneath the risk reward section of the 21-point checklist.
Yep. So you would use this script when, guys? When somebody's telling you what? When somebody has how much of their money in growth? Way too much of their money in growth. That's right. Cool. Now we're going to listen to a titling to an advisor doing the titling, and let's see what he did right and what he did, what he could have done better. So let's go ahead and take a listen to it. If I can bring it up here.
All right, the next thing we should talk about is the titling. And so you guys have some joint accounts. You have joint bank accounts. You have the joint account at Edward Jones. on those accounts, I mean, having them titled as joint special access survivorship is a good thing. And that's what y'all have. Why is it such a good thing to have them joint?
What's it? No, to have them joint?
Yeah. So that, you know, if something happens to one of you, who automatically
Yeah.
automatically goes to the other one. Doesn't go through probate or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's exactly how you want it, you know. And you know, if you're going to write a check, you both of you have to sign it, or if you just one at a time.
Just one.
Yeah. So it's great to have it joint that way. And you know, I saw that the kids are not on there, which is also a good thing. And why are they not on there?
It affects their finances, affect your account.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Their finances, if their name's on there and something happens to them, if they're in a bankruptcy or lawsuit or divorce, then your account, you get straight into that if their name is on it. So having their name on there could only cause what?
A lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble. That's exactly right.
My mom had my brother and myself on her account, so they just became ours.
Right. It's made it easy at that point that it just became yours. And it didn't have
But we didn't know there could be other problems.
Yeah, I mean, y'all were fortunate that there weren't any.
Yeah,
but
she was, I guess.
Yeah, but if there had been, well then.
Or I guess if something happened to her, then we would be responsible too, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So he's doing a pretty good job right now, or not very good job at all? I think he's doing a very good job. Now, there is one thing he could have done even better here. Was this lady making a fantastic point here about understanding why kids shouldn't be on the accounts? Yeah, so what would be the appropriate way to do? What kind of gots? Because has he been gossing here, guys, with agreeing with her and parroting with her? Has he been doing a lot of agreeing and parroting with her? Yes. But what could he do here when she made a great point? Let's see, who got it? Dale got it? Michael got it? Head of the class. Till got it? Okay, you're getting it. Yeah, empowering her, saying she's ahead of the class. She's above average for her to be able to suss that out. Because how many people can actually realize that if they put the kids' names on there, that could cause all sorts of other financial problems? Most people, or less than most? Yeah, not a lot of people. So I would empower her and give her a real good pat on the back. So he didn't do anything wrong, just missed an opportunity. He could have really empowered her. And when we find those opportunities to empower, we want to do it because people love us when we tell them they're above average. So here we go.
Yeah, it goes both ways there. That's right. So it's good that they're not on there. You know, and like we said, if something happens to one of you guys, the account goes to
the other one.
The other one. That's right. But what if, you know, God forbid something happened to both of you at the same time? Who would you want to go to? Those accounts.
The kids.
Right. And how would the bank or Edward Jones know that you wanted to go to the kids?
Yeah, right now you'd have to just go through probate, wouldn't it?
Well, you're exactly right. It would have to go through probate. And that's how it would
They couldn't touch your money till it was probated.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't touch it. It would go through probate, and they couldn't touch it till it was probated. And how long does probate normally take, you think?
Again, what could you have done there? How bright is this lady? Very bright. So what could we miss another opportunity to do what? He's not doing anything wrong, but miss another opportunity to empower. And boy, I'm always looking for ways to empower people.
On average.
Probably a couple of years.
Yeah, that's about right. It can take a really long time, just depending on. So it could be a couple of years. And probate is a process where, you know, a lot of documents have to be filed and a lot of legal things have to be done. So who would the kids maybe need to hire to help them get through that process?
They're tired of
Yeah, that's right. Do attorneys work for free? No. You got experience with them. They don't. So this probate process, it's going to take some time. It's going to cost some money. Yeah, some time and some money. And, you know, the kids are going to get it eventually.
So isn't it interesting, guys, how much are the clients following this script? Perfectly. It's like the advisor sent the script to them the night before. And that's why I say the power of our scripts, guys, when you follow our scripts, the power of it is I predicted 20 years ago what your clients would say 20 years in the future. That's the power of learning the scripts. When you learn the scripts, it's like the client, like you sent the client the scripts the night before, and it goes perfectly. So he's doing a fantastic job so far.
But only after what? It goes through what?
Yeah, the probate.
Yeah, and the problems with probate, it takes what?
Yeah, a long time.
Time and money. Time and money. That's a long time and money. That's right.
Now what would I had a couple of chances to empower the wife. Did that guy get me a perfect answer there? Not only time, but time and money. That was perfect. Most people will only say time, or most people don't say money, but he gave us both. I would have gave him an empower too.
So if you had a choice, if you could choose, and if it were possible to have those accounts go straight to the kids without going through probate, I mean, would you rather do that, or would you rather go through probate?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was wanting to do, but we didn't know how to do it because we were told don't put them on our account. So I didn't know what.
They didn't give you any other ideas on how to do that. Well, here's the thing. If you wanted to do that, you could just go to the bank or the brokers, and usually if you're telling us what you want, say, hey, we want these accounts to go to the kids. If something happens to us, we don't want them to go through probate, we want them to go to the kids. They just pull a form out of their lower left-hand drawer and say, what are your kids' names? Put them on there, and you sign it, and bam, guess what? That's all it takes.
Is that the same thing as writer's survivorship, or?
Well, I don't know if you call it that, but it just makes the kids beneficiaries, and it bypasses probate.
Okay.
Because I mean, all it is the form. And
all I just go to the bank and tell them I want to fill out that form.
Yeah, yeah. And do you think it costs anything to do that?
No.
No. I mean, so how easy was that?
Okay, a couple things here. Is she clear that she can do that with the bank? Have that form at the bank? Yes. Is she clear that with the broker? He mentioned the broker once, but he's mentioned the bank like 6-7 times. Guys, are we here to kill the bank, or are we here to kill the broker? So I don't know why he keeps mentioning the bank. It's like he's afraid to hurt the broker. Guys, are we hurting the broker? Is it our job to hurt the broker? No, that's right, Kirk. No, I'm sorry, Kirk. No, Kirk, it is not. So, Nick, you're right. Our job is not to hurt the broker. Whose job is it to hurt the broker? The client's job. That's right. It's their job to hurt the broker. That's right, Daniel. So that's a little misstep here. It's like he's afraid to say a bad thing about the broker. But good. I'm glad that you're afraid to say a bad thing about the broker, because you shouldn't. But does that mean we shouldn't allow the client to say bad things about the broker? No, we got to let the client do it. So here we go. Because he's doing such a great job with the script. But if we don't get what do we need in order for the script to work? You can do a perfect job with the script. That's right. Bad advisor, glad. They have to say their advisor is bad. That's right. So he's shying away from that. Let's see if he can turn the corner, come back to it here later, or if he's just completely out taking a left turn here.
Well, which makes me wonder, it kind of reminds me of something my mom used to always tell me. She would catch me doing something in a hurry, and she would be like, wait, always do things right the second time. And that's what she did. Yeah, she did do things right the first time. And why? I mean, is it easier to go back and have to fix something, or is it easier just to do what?
Do it the first time.
Yeah, do it the first time. And what makes me wonder about that, I wonder why they didn't set those accounts up that way to start with.
When I questioned and wanting to do that, they knew I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just...
Exactly. I mean, because you...
What should he do right there? What should he do right there? She goes, I questioned him. I told him I want to do... That's right, Dale. What kind, Daniel? Daniel said GOTS. What kind of GOTS? There's 3 types of GOTS. There's agree, there's parrot, and there's empower. What should he be doing right at this point? When she said, hey, this is exactly what I wanted to happen. I told him I wanted to happen. Yeah, empower again, Mike. Exactly right. Empower again.
We're awful enough to bring it up. You knew that's what you wanted to happen, but it's easily done. I mean, that easy and didn't cost anything. I mean, well, it's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't.
But if we think about banks and big brokerages and things like that, do they like to have a little bit of money in their accounts, or do they like to have a lot of money in their accounts?
I think they want a lot.
They want a lot. Yeah. And why is that? How does that benefit them to have more money?
Interest bearing on your money.
Exactly. Yeah. The more they have, the more they make. So, and do they like to keep that money for just a little while, or do they like to keep it there for as long as they can talk you, sign it? That's right. And why? Again, why is that?
Yeah. So they make their money.
They make their money, you know. So they want as much as possible, or as long as possible, right? Well.
Okay, that was a big mistake. Does it sound like he has an agenda here? Let me play it back. I'm going to back it up a few seconds here.
Talk you, sign it. That's right. And why? Again, why is that?
Yeah. So they make their money. They
make their money, you know. So they want as much as possible, or as long as possible, right?
See, who's giving the motive there? They want your money for as much as possible, for as long as possible. So when you give the motive, what happens? Do you have a reason? Do you have a motive to assign motive? Do you have a motive to assign the fact that their broker is screwing them? That's right, Glad. They're not going to believe you. That's a big thing. You cannot give them the motive. They have to give you the motive. He's doing such a fantastic job up to this point, but now guess what? What's the most important words that have to come out of their mouth? All the stuff up to this point? No, what's the most important words that have to come out of their mouth? He did this to me for a reason. He is a bad advisor. Exactly right. So let's see. He's still got some time here. Let's see if he circles back and gets it. Oh, and by the way, did he bring up the broker again finally? Yes, he did. Yep.
Well, if we think about this, when someone's estate goes into probate, does the probate court leave their accounts open so people can tinker with them, or do they freeze those accounts until they make sure everybody gets what they're supposed to get?
They're frozen.
They're frozen. If they get frozen, where do they have to stay?
In the bank.
In the bank. Or with Edward Jones or whoever they're with, right?
Yeah.
And so why do you think the bank and Edward Jones let you park your money there during probate? How are they benefiting from that?
Yeah, they're making the money off of it.
They are. And if your estate's in probate, are you alive at this point, or are you what?
Can you?
Yeah, you can't get it. So they were making money on you when you were alive, but now they're making money on you when you passed away.
And you die.
That's right. And so while this is going on, do you think they're calling up your kids going, hey, we really want to get this money, you know, or you think they're kind of romancing them a little bit, telling them all the reasons why they should keep it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't really know why they didn't set it up.
Oh, mistake. What happened there? Let me play it back a little bit. Glad got it. Bob got it. Yeah, so listen to what happens here again.
This money, you know, or you think they're kind of romancing them a little bit, telling them all the reasons why they should keep it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't really.
What happened? He asked an open-ended question. He asked the exact question. What did she say? What did she say? Yeah. No. What is she? So she needs to what? He needs to follow up there and say, yeah. So no, you're exactly right. So do you think they're getting the kids on the phone? Do you think that and telling them how soon they're going to get the money, or do you think they're maybe going to be trying to romance them again? I'm just going to repeat the question. And when you do that, so first of all, did you hear me answer first? Yeah, when she said yeah, I said yeah, exactly right. So are they going to go ahead and tell them that they're going to send them the check, or they can get on the phone and kind of romance them and get them to keep the money there. All I'm doing is repeating the exact same question he did. But what am I telling a client when I give them a little gots, but then ask them the same exact question? What have I told the client? We're not going to what? That's right, Sue. She's got to say it. I'm not moving on till she says it. She's got to say it. Make sense? So I'm going to give her a little pat in the back, but then ask her the same questions again.
Well, they didn't set it up properly, but we just found 2 reasons, and one of those.
Then to make money. I'm going to be at the bank tomorrow today.
So you make money, not only on you, but on who else?
The kids.
Yeah. So why do you think it wasn't done properly the first time?
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but it is that easy to do. So.
Oh, he's done everything so far. On a scale of 1 to 10, where is he? On 10 being fantastic, can't do it any better, and 1 being very poorly, doesn't even know the script. Where is he? Yeah, I'd say 8, even maybe 9. But he got to the end, and what is she doing? And this will happen to you guys. Even when you do the script perfectly, what is she doing at the end? Well, let me play it again. And Jeff, if you can get in here and hop in here too and make some comments on what's happening here at the end too. So I'm going to try to play it again.
One reason why they should keep it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really know why they didn't set it up properly, but we just found 2 reasons, and one of those.
Then to make money. I'm going to be at the bank tomorrow today.
So you make money, not only on you, but on who else?
The kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so why do you think it wasn't done properly the first time?
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but it is that easy to do. So those are things that, that might be something.
She bailed out. Also, words are power. So I'm going to see if we can come up with a different wording and listen to this and see what wording I don't particularly like. So here we go.
Hey, we really want to get this money. Do y'all do this all the time? Or you think they're kind of romancing them a little bit, telling them all the reasons why they should keep it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really know why they didn't set it up properly, but we just found 2 reasons, and one of those.
Okay, what phrasing in there do you think that I don't like? And he uses it twice. He said it once there, and listen, he's going to say it again.
I'm going to be at the bank tomorrow today.
So you make money, not only on you, but on who else?
The kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so why do you think it wasn't done properly the first time?
Said it again. What's the phrase I don't like? Wasn't done properly. So what could be a motive for not done properly? That's right, Lonnie. What could be a motive for not done properly? So when your kids, you tell the kids to clean the room and they don't clean the room, that's right, Till. Could have been a mistake, an honest mistake. And guys, will our clients forgive their advisors honest mistakes? That's right, Kirky. So I forgot, or I didn't know. So what's the appropriate phrase there that we need to see? So I'm not certain why they gave you the wrong form instead of the right form, but we did find a couple of reasons. We're not certain why they chose to give you that form instead of the form that you're asking to do with this lady. They say, well, this lady would be even easier, right? Did she say she asked him for the form or to make sure it could bypass and go directly to the kids? Did she say earlier in the script? Yes. So she'd be even easier, right? So I'm not certain when you said that you wanted to go to the kids. I mean, do you think you're the only person out there that would want it directly to go to the kids? No, I assume most people do. Yeah, and, when you go in and ask them for this form, they're not going to say, oh, I never heard of that form. They're going to reach the lower left-hand drawer and grab the form. So if they knew that you want to bypass the kids, they know the form's right there in the drawer, what would be the reasons? I mean, we found a couple reasons why they chose to not give you the form you asked for, instead gave you the different form. And what's that form? And why, why did they not give you that right form? So if you do everything properly till the end, guess what? Do everything properly till the end, and then you bobble it at the end. Guess what? All that works. So this is the heat. I'd give them an 8 or a 9 even, a 9 more likely, all the way up to this point. So 9 all the way up to 8 minutes, and then in the last 30 seconds, guess what happens? So Jeff, what would your comment on that be? Where you do the script? I mean, did he nail the script, Jeff, perfectly? Was it
he did a great job on the script. And I guess the thing I would tell you is, especially at titling, the first time you get them to say that the broker did this on purpose, it's easier to get it the 4th time, 3rd time, 5th time. The first time is the hardest. And so you very likely would hear something like this at titling the first time that you're really going after the broker, because we went after him soft up until this point, but now we're kind of changing gears and going a lot harder. And so they're discovering it for the first time. You can't let them get by with that here, because if you let them get by with it here, guess what you have to do the next time, and the next time, and the next time. Let them get by with it. And if you don't let them get by with it the 3rd or 4th time, guess what they start to think? Well, you let me get by with it the first 2 or 3 times. Why aren't you letting me get by with? Oh, wait a minute. I think I know what this is about. You have it. If you it is you got to get it here, and everything after this is so much easier. If you don't get it here, everything after this is hard. It doesn't get easier. If you want it to get easier, you've got to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, we need to sort this out right here, right now.
That's exactly right, Jeff. That's such a great point. You're eventually going to have the conversation that the guy is screwing them. If you don't have it here, you're going to have it the next time. If you don't have it there, you're going to have it the next time. If you don't do it there, you're going to have it the next time. And the more you delay, the harder it's going to get. And guys, you should never move on to the script. The scripts have been designed perfectly so that you start out with the things that just disappoint them, then irritates them, and then gets them angry. So would this be a angry, he's stealing from me? Maybe, but on a scale of 1 to 10, being 10 off the charts, he's stealing from me, to he's stealing cookies from me. This is more in the cookie area. That's what Jeff's saying. It's easier to get them to say it here than it's going to be when they're stealing from you with the fees. You got to start out here, and you don't move forward, because he did it perfectly. It's like the client, like we said earlier, it's like the clients had the script. They were like reading off the script. He did it perfectly, reading off the script. But if they don't give you that at the end, you got to circle back. You got to get them to say it. You cannot move on. So how do you do that? So let's see how I would do it. We'll go back here. And they're not giving me what I want, so we'll back it up, and then I'll stop and see. I'll show you what we. How it
And so, while this is going on, do you think they're calling up your kids, going, "Hey, we really want to get this money. Do y'all do this possible?" Or you think they're kind of romancing them a little bit, telling them all the reasons why they should keep it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. You know, I mean, there's so many things that you've already identified so far. So, do you think they're going to call up the kids and try to say, hey, we're going to send you the check? Or you think they're going to try to get them on the phone, say, oh, why don't you come on in? We're going to take care of you, and romance them, bitch. Which one do you think? Just call them up, send them a check, or romance them? Oh, no, they're going to probably romance them. So that's how I'd handle that. I'd circle back and not say, let her get by with a yes. No, we're going to keep going here.
Yeah, so we don't really know why they didn't set it up properly, but we just found 2 reasons, and one of those.
To make money. So I'm going to get the money tomorrow today.
So you make money, not only on you, but on who else?
The kids.
Yeah. So why do you think it wasn't done?
Oh, sorry.
Done properly?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of hear, and I understand, Martha, I kind of hear a little hesitation in your voice, and you're kind of doing the calculations in your head. So we said you did or did not want it to go to the kids. Well, we did. So and the reason we want to is to avoid probate, because probate costs. Frank, you said what now? Yeah, it's going to cost time and money. Yeah, it's going to cost time and money. You guys got it. So, and we said that the advisor or the bank or the advisor would or would not know the form. Is it in his desk right now? No, you said it was right in his desk. Yeah, it's right in his desk. So he chose the form that you wanted to bypass to bypass probate and give it directly to the kids, or he chose the form where you didn't want it and where he gets to keep it longer. Which form did he give you? Well, the one that he keeps longer. So we're not for sure. We can't read his mind. But we did find there's 2 reasons why he may have chosen to give you the wrong form on purpose. And what were those 2 reasons? Because he wanted to make money on me and he wanted to make money on my kids. See, I'm going to circle back, make them say it. Was I argumentative there at all, guys? No. And did I pat him on the back several times during that? Yes. So would they say, gosh, Mike, why are you being such a jerk? No, they'd say, well, but I am radioing to them or telegraphing that what? We are going to move forward or not going to move forward until they actually say it. We're not moving forward. And as Jeff just perfectly pointed out, is do it when that's easy. You don't want to have to circle back and do it when it's more difficult, because right now I've radioed, you got to tell me what I want to hear. We're not going to move forward. So what does that tell them about the next time I ask them a question like that? That they should say it, or we're going to sit there and go round and round and round until they say it? And if you delay that until the end, that's going to become even more difficult, because they're going to be more likely to give you the answer you want when you do it early on in the presentation. Does that make sense? But the big thing I want you to take from this is, when you do the script right, how easy is the meeting? When you do the script right, like he did, except for the end, but all the way up to the very, very end, how easy is the script? It's easy. It's like they were given the script. That's why you need to practice the script and lock this down, because he did it perfectly until the very end, where he let them get away with walking away from the motive. Also, he kept saying, where he did muff up on the script, why this wasn't done properly. I don't want this wasn't done properly. Why he chose to give you the wrong form. We don't know for sure why. We can't read minds. But there are a couple reasons why he may have chosen to give you the wrong form. And why is that? What's the most important word in what I just said there? See if anybody picked up on that. Well, you're saying wise, that's right. No, chosen. Why he chose to give you the wrong form. Chose. What does chose tell you? What does chose tell you? Deliberate. That's right. Intention. That's the word. We're not for certain. We can't read minds, but we did find a couple reasons why he chose to give you the wrong form. That's willful. Exactly, Dennis. So that's the word we want to use, because he gave me the wrong form. Could that be an accident? Why this is done improperly? Could that be an accident? Yeah, no. Chose. And we're not saying he did this. We always soften it by saying, no, we're not, we can't read minds. We weren't there. We don't know what's going on. But we did find there is a couple reasons why he chose to give you the wrong form. And what are those 2 reasons? So does that make sense? Is that helpful? So Guy did an unbelievable job on the script. But then at the end, he didn't lock in the motive. Remember, the whole script, everything he did for that first 8 minutes is to set it up so they will assign motive. So this is an example of not following through. Perfect, beautiful stroke, didn't follow through, and he hooked the ball. Make sense? Super. Well, you guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.